I had started playing this game before I did my run of Final Fantasy IX, and you know, I there's plenty of games I've played in the past that I've 100% been enjoying, and have not finished through no fault of the game. This was definitely a game I wanted to play. I really enjoy a lot of horror games, and I think I said in the previous comments, yeah, when this first came out, it was just in Chinese, and it was getting good reviews, and I really wanted to play it. So I was looking at horror games on Steam. Again, I started playing this in the middle of March, and I was looking at other things and came across this. And yeah, I don't know exactly when they put an English translation out, but indeed they did. And um, so I had a couple with this Final Fantasy VII business. I ultimately I'm gonna do some troubleshooting. I would really like to get to the end of it. I'd like to use the footage for a future video, but I'd also, you know, I was enjoying my playthrough. I'd like to, and the Remako mod I was using. It's pretty nice looking because, you know. Just the regular like Steam version and PC version where they might have like slightly touched things up, like it's still pretty rough looking. It still looks a lot like the PlayStation one does. Where with this, it's like there's still like the default character models are very polygon y, but at least like a lot of the backgrounds and stuff, which were definitely I think pretty cool looking back in the day because it was just so much random stuff. I think those are nice and smooth looking. So yeah, in any event though, I'm gonna. This firework icon has been sitting on my desktop for a while. I meant to get to the end of this. And then I thought I just had this thought earlier today. Like since I've already got the microphone hooked up, and I'd like to kind of do more commentary stuff on when I do future video games. Thought might as well just throw my thoughts on the end here. And then I did just it has been a little bit, so I was jumping between characters here. They definitely horror games in general. They love to do a lot of that. Like, oh, what is this madness? Is this haunted or this or that? Or why are the walls bleeding? All that kind of stuff. And yeah, this game has been very much like that. I don't know if like the walls bleeding specifically, but anyway, so yeah, I was kind of refamiliarizing myself with the plot. AKA, I was looking at my kind of past videos and sort of like speed watching through them, and I kind of recalled most of the gist of this. So, and I think it looks like I was kind of like looking at like the all the past footage, how long I've been playing. I think it was around the 2 hour mark total. And I'm on chapter 4 right now. I don't know how far into it I am, but chapter 5 was the last one. I imagine that could very well be the longest, but it's probably not. I think this is kind of a shorter game. I would say it's probably supposed to be like a 3 and change hour game, maybe, depending on how long you might take on some of the puzzles. They've been, I will say, that's something they've been pretty solid about. Because I always kind of think like a classic example like a Resident Evil game with its puzzles. None of them are really. Sometimes you might not really be clear where you're supposed to go next, but the actual mechanics of the puzzle those themselves, the whole like, oh, you need to fill the oil and press the right buttons or whatever, like that kind of business. That's usually not especially taxing, and these have kind of been the same kind of pretty low key puzzles. Uh, so I clearly there was something I didn't interact with. Oh, there we go. Yeah, that'll definitely happen in a lot of these games where I mean that one's kind of embarrassing where I just went too because I guess if you go all the way to the right it says oh it's a dead end but there was in fact a door right before it so that was you know a lack of awareness on my part but I think you can definitely also with these games there will be the one thing you can interact with that you might overlook and kind of find yourself backtracking as a result. It's like a blank portrait here, which is probably pretty terrifying in its own way. You know, it could pop up with any kind of face at any time. Maybe it could even be like a ghost or a skeleton or one of the characters we've met previously. It could be all kinds of things, and you know, pretty pretty horrifying to behold. I think we can all agree. Maybe the balcony. No dice. Balcony's locked. All right. So now it becomes the age old question of what did I previously overlook? I actually, just in the interest of transparency, with a lot of these types of games, if such an option exists, I usually will keep like some kind of guide open in the background. Um, Usually, what I try and do is just play for as long as I can within reason. Um, and then if I absolutely can't figure it out, pop the guide open. Kind of my general philosophy behind that, because I think some people have with different kinds of games have very strong feelings about like, oh no, you can't use a guide or it'll. Yes, I will tear open a crack. You better believe it. All right, we've got a wall fragment here. So like with many things, with oh, that's kind of interesting. It's in the shape of like a person. Yeah, I've been like visually speaking, you know, I'm not going to say that this game has like reinvented the wheel or anything, but it's been consistently pretty interesting, and you know, it is another crack in the wall. Yeah, I don't know what we're oh yeah, I was going to say I don't know what we're ultimately going to use these things for, but I take that back. That's I would wonder. If, oh, never mind. I was going to say I wonder if we're going to put them over that blank portrait, but that's not what we're going to do. Yeah, I think maybe some of these observations I make while I play the end of this game without following a guide may out me as not being that smart. How can I refer back to that piece of paper? Or, well, I. Would it be considered an item? Two wall fragments. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So the first number could be like an 8. I think you're supposed to. The second number is a 2, and then a blank. And then. No, you know what? I'm going to say it's in the interest of moving it along, but you're welcome to believe whatever you'd like. I am going to just look this bad boy up real quick. Oh, that's it. I was going to say, how would this relate to those dial things? But no, I guess this is a separate thing if this guide is to be believed. This would indeed be, so yeah, it's 9 2. Oh, I see. I see. That's kind of clever. Yeah, you like, if you mash the two up, then the first number's a 9, and the second's a 2, and the second's a 2, which is a birthday. Mrs. Looks like Miss Chen will later note that this is indeed Fong Fong's birthday. But anyway, I guess perhaps we are not meant to be doing anything with that dial yet. There was a, I don't think that that was a washing machine, but there was, of course, some kind of washing machine related puzzle earlier. I think that portrait from earlier is gone. Maybe I was mistaken and I did need to do something with that. Or maybe that it was, in fact, I didn't look really closely at the actual thing you input Sling in, but I get, perhaps I can. I thought it was dials. I didn't know that it was number related, but we'll take a closer look. There doesn't appear to be anything else, so I'm sure that's the. Oh, it does in fact have. It is a dial with numbers, which, does kind of have a washing machine vibe, though, so it's my excuse for leaving the room and looking elsewhere for a place to enter a code. It's right inside. Arrested for superstitious activities. I think I don't really have a clear example off the top of my head, but I think some of these things, like the translations, have been not like super off, but like kind of a little bit funny or worded a little bit clunkily. I can't really think of an example with a journal specifically. I can more think of like a few games that did it with storybooks, but I do kind of like when games will sort of pop in these kind of interactive things like that. Not that there's necessarily anything wrong with just a straight up reading someone's diary or a note or something like that. That can be totally fine too. And absolutely has its place. But some of those things, it's kind of can be an interesting, like, sort of visual way to kind of, help tell what the story of whatever you're reading. So I was trying to, and I had mentioned earlier, I was kind of like speed rewatching through the game. Like, so this is this woman, Miss Chen, is like, I think she's a teacher, and she's from this town, and the guy, the main character, this dude, is a cop who is kind of from a neighboring area. This seems like a very small and like rural village in China, and he was like called here to investigate something with a funeral home. I'm a little bit sling about the a body. I think it was actually of that guy we just saw there who recently died. But and that guy like gave the smackdown to, I forget his name. It's like, yeah, something Sean is the doctor who we meet earlier in the game, who he blames for like not saving his son who died, I think it is. And so yeah, that old guy like gave him the beat down, if memory serves. And it kind of seems like maybe that doctor is definitely hiding something and is going to be a bad guy to some degree. I don't know if he's responsible for all the haunted happenings. I think that might be, but he's clearly going to be like, you know, I think we're in fact, I think even like, what's her name? Miss Chen. I think she's, that's kind of, I mean, we're just investigating in general this, like what happened to I think it was like I don't know. I'm gonna need a little more gameplay to help refresh my memory. There was something that like with one of her students, or like there's like several people died or whatever. And there was okay. There's I'm pretty confident there's nothing to do in here. So there must have been something over that way that I neglected to interact with. It's like every single time in these games. Oh, yeah, why am I back where I started and nothing, no progress was made? I must have missed something. Something new must have unlocked. Oh, maybe can I? So I brought this probably. Can I go out in the balcony? Use the guy. There we go. Is that it? Nothing. Nothing I can like pick up from the potted plant. So that is unfortunate. I definitely wasn't out here as the guy before, but that didn't seem to move the needle any. How about in here? Investigate this. Oh, oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah, I was thinking it was the fan for some reason, just because I happened to be looking at the fan when the magnifying glass came up. I'm just gonna see if there. I'm assuming this is a dead end. Yeah, I just wanted to give that a quick check before I did go down. That I'm afraid of graveyards. I imagine we might find that tree where the that crow was buried from the journal. What do we have here? Oh, okay. Are these going to be different passages? I imagine this is going to be kind of something maze-esque, which these are, I think, the kinds of puzzles that if you can just if you just, you know, unless sometimes it'll be like kind of more like a test, and you can just randomly, choose a bunch of directions, and you won't necessarily get anywhere. But I'm assuming these lanterns are obviously new. I was thinking, for example, something like the oh, that's cool, a little kind of shadowy person note here. I was thinking of the Ocarina of Time, the one where it's you have to go towards the loudest music one, like right before you leave the first forest area, and you had to get through the maze. You have to, yeah, you know what I'm talking about. My body will not rot into the mud like a bird. I'll die in the sky. Really makes you think. I've seen this poem at the crime scene. I don't remember that being there. Dot dot dot. I believe we'll find the answer soon. Yeah, I again we're still in chapter 4, so I don't I think when I saved last time though I had been running on chapter 4 for at least a little bit, so I imagine we are eye-catching scale. Don't mind if I do. A finger in this fish and a ring on the finger, which I think we also found there was a couple of rings on that table in the kitchen, I believe. I guess there was a yep. Good old TNU. Yep, the ghost of my boy TNU. He's back. It'd be pretty unsettling if someone else wrote in your journal. Oh, and there. All right, so we see more like kind of a dialogue play out, and I guess that was the like the mother of Fong Fong and her mother-in-law. And I'm guessing this is like after the guy is dead. I was thinking the Hugway. I'd have to see the name again. I don't remember. Yeah, a bunch of. Not sure who Wong Jin Tsai is. That's a new one. They're dropping a bunch of. I'm not sure if we're supposed to know who any of these people are. Okay, well TNU is the one that she had mentioned being the like, oh, he's back, and I was finding those cigarette butts and stuff like that. Stop staring. Give me my cigarettes. I'm in a hurry. Oh, I wonder if it's the guy at the shop from the beginning of the game where you get like the batteries or whatever. It might be. I'm assuming this is not the first time we hear this name, and it's just that I'm a little rusty because it was like a month and a half ago I was playing this, so it's probably we could chalk that up to that. Yep, that's totally the. So yeah, I'm assuming that's the like daughter-in-law, and she was like saying, "Oh, it's me, TNU, who's I believe is dead," and maybe she's kind of like she's possessed, kind of thing. Oh, unless that's the. It could also be the dead husband. For all I know, like the father-in-law is still alive at this time. In the flashback she's having. Again, the kind of gap in me playing is making me a little less clear than I might otherwise be if I had continued playing. I had not been distracted by Final Fantasy IX at the time. Well, that about confirms it. Possessed by Tianyu's spirit. Despite all the bleeding walls and stuff, Miss Chan is still gonna be like, oh, superstition. No, I'm all about the science, she says. Don't care how many bleeding walls I've seen, she says. Oh, I wonder if they mean like her ghost or is she still supposed to be alive? Again, that's a little how unclear I am about the game. Like I'm pretty sure I thought most of the family, if not all, was dead. I'm like positive that like Fong Fong is supposed to be dead, and I thought the in-laws were supposed to be dead. Where do you want to see through? Start with the door seam. Someone is standing outside the door. Ah. Looks like someone wearing slippers, kind of. Up, find a place to hide. Oh, they really give you a timer? That's hilarious. I think did I just get, oh, there we go, good. I was gonna say, this game, not that, again, not that I think it's strictly necessary. I think sometimes it can kind of take away from the game if it's a poor system, but seems like there's no way to get game overed or any kind of like, oh, you need to run or hide or that kind of thing. So, which like I'm all for. It's kind of just, because I could absolutely picture a game where there's some kind of thing you have to do, some kind of quick time event or keep this. What game has the like? There's some kind of keep this thing in the center of the deal, or reduce your panic. I've played a bunch of games. They're all kind of blurring together, but anyway, yeah. I assume if I had stood there, maybe I could have gotten game over and killed by that ghost, but guess we'll never know. That was indeed close. That only giving 3 seconds was pretty. Huh. Good old Fong Fong watching out for us from beyond the grave. Helping us at the ancestral grave. Yeah, so TNU is clearly the son that died, and I don't know. Again, the way they're talking, like right there, makes it sound like it wasn't like the ghost; and it was the actual person. So, I think I'm gonna leap over the candle, as opposed to walk beside it. What did I not? Oh, I know what it is. I hit the B button. I'm still, from that 8 to 10 hours into Final Fantasy VII, where I was having difficulties remapping the controller. I got used to using B as the confirm. I think I will try walking across this rather ominous looking bridge. Illuminate the road ahead with bright candles. Bribe the ghosts guards with spirit money. I am all about bribing ghosts and spirit money. Not really sure how you're supposed to do it exactly, but press A to hit. Okay. Not quite. I guess I'm folding something up. Folding up some spirit money, perhaps. To bribe a ghost or two. Okay, it's a boat, clearly. Yeah, this would kind of probably be up there with like what I was saying before, what was happening with the journal and games where you'll do kind of segments where you're doing an animated storybook kind of thing. This sort of seems right in line with that. Which again, like I'm generally like I'm all for things like this. Like I think this is pretty cool looking, and okay, maybe I'm supposed to go the other way. I think really when I would have any kind of potential gripe with these kinds of segments is when um, if they overstay their welcome, kind of, or it ends up sort of being a hassle. That's when I can kind of feel like it's sort of the same reason like when I was saying earlier about looking up using a guide or whatever after a certain amount of time. Kind of my just general feeling is I don't really like to use I don't like unironically use the term immersion too often, but it's the kind of thing where if you spend 30 minutes backtracking to try and figure something out on your own, then I kind of feel like that takes you out of the game, and it just becomes stressful, and then you enjoy the game less as a result. So that's kind of so I'd say that's sort of my feeling about guides. I'd say the same thing with sort of like scenes like that where it's kind of storybooky. It's like, oh, that was cool looking, nice and quick, and that was that. So did the job, I'd say. Versus if there was something where it's like, oh, you have to go left and right, and it's lengthy or it's confusing or it's hard to control or something like that, then I would say, well, I think that's poorly done because that scene lasted too long for how interesting it could have potentially been. Like it's kind of cool with the like sort of like kind of almost like crayon looking flames. Kind of has that storybook quality to it also. Sinner. Though he did not rob graves, he benefited from them. His sins are unforgivable. All right, fair enough. He will suffer 163.84 million years of dismemberment in his father's stead. It seems a little heavy handed. He must not leave until his term is due. Wow. Some pretty extreme. Got a feeling. That's definitely not suspicious. That was really cool. I gotta say, I've been really liking the way they've done some of these things, and yeah, I think that was very well done. That was very cool. It's going to be a portrait or a mirror, perhaps. Full-length mirror. We've had a few like putting mirror shards back in, so, and it was definitely mirror shaped. I'm gonna say she's really reliable. Mirror Man's not buying it. Guess that's probably hit him with the dot dot dot. I guess they did definitely say something about that when you saw that, that like kind of torture scene or whatever. And yeah, now that I'm thinking about it, I guess that was an element that sounded kind of. I hadn't really wasn't recalling that earlier, but I guess it's sounding somewhat familiar. That maybe the father-in-law was involved in some. So once again, we're just inexplicably in an entirely different place. There's in this game certainly, and I'd say in plenty of other horror games, they love to do it just to like waking up in a different place. And oh, how did I get here? It's like all right. So some more possible evidence that she's faking it. I mean, obviously that's guaranteed not to be. I mean, if that is the answer, it's not the only answer, obviously. goes without saying there's going to be some supernatural happenings by the end of the game. Provided it's possible, there are games where you could be like, "Oh no, they were crazy. It was all in their head." But like with multiple characters doing this, I think it's pretty unlikely they're gonna hit me with that. Oh, this was this police officer is just nuts. This was all in his head, and he's a crazy person. There's clearly more to the story than that. Or I will say this: in the event, I don't think that's the direction they're going, but I would be, I'd be pretty unhappy. Where's the phone again? Oh, I think it's in the kitchen area, isn't it? Nope, guess not. Seeing as how the door's locked, I guess maybe I'll check the previous room then. Getting a different ringtone there. Now I can't hear any ringing at all. I guess it's also worth noting that we are no longer in the police station. We are back in the home now. Okay, I'm assuming then that I did just overlook the phone from before, and the phone, if I go back towards this way, I'll start hearing ringing again, perhaps. Yes, indeed. So the mystery of where is the phone continues. Oh, it was on this thing. Huh. I kind of doubt the grandparents did. I'll bet she's just not telling them. Also found the thing you were looking for. I'll send it to you when I get it the chance. Yeah, yeah, there we go. And okay, so Wong Jin Sai, which is how you technically pronounce it, is indeed he was that shop owner that we saw, um, and yeah, I guess the stealing cultural relics that kind of sounds like AKA grave robbing. For the investigation, he used to work in a bank. He habitually recorded each transaction on his ledger. This could, just like with many things, my lack of memory or understand, it could entirely be, the game did cover it, and I just don't remember because it was a while ago. But I remember her saying she was, didn't, she wanted to know more about this case specifically, but I don't remember her mentioning investigating. But like, I'm pretty sure she is a teacher, at least in this town or whatever. But Yeah, if she came here to investigate, like that sounds more like a news story kind of thing, like reporting. All right, well, I guess I will proceed to click on things until I find fingerprints. Okay, so I'll look for some tape first. So we can't get in the kitchen, so perhaps we would find some tape in that bedroom or in this cabinet right here. That would be mighty convenient. We can go ahead and collect our first print on what appears to be an iron. Still locked. Assuming the balcony is closed. Yep. So probably door over here would be unlocked. Unique residue, you say? What do we have here? All right, can we exit out the back? Oh, no, never mind. That's a closet, not a door. Well, fortunately, I did think there was another door out here in this main area, so I'll bet you this will be the ticket. I'll bet you fingerprint number 3 will be here. Probably on the camera. This is the toy camera that belonged to the little girl. All right, chapter 5. Yeah, it's not a good idea for kids to take sleeping pills in general, but especially if someone's tampered with them and replaced them with rat poison. It's Although again, not that one would be not a kid specific thing. That would just be in general. You should not take rat poison. All right, let's see what Fong Fong was doing handling this bottle of sleeping pills. Why indeed? Assuming she was indeed stealing them, it could have been like, fetch me my sleeping pills kind of thing. That unique residue was from Scratchers. That's pretty funny. I'm assuming that, probably that was what if he was indeed selling cultural artifacts, maybe that's how he spent some of the extra money was gambling with Scratchers. So that convenience store guy, yeah, I assume if you can trust him to rob graves with you, he'll probably back your story that your crazy daughter-in-law took rat poison out of grief. If you're not familiar with that word, it's like rice porridge. It's kind of like a breakfast thing. I'm guessing that's what that fish eating thing was. And yeah, that the witch they're talking about, like they I definitely remember there's some superstitious type woman or whatever that they go to see in the city to talk to the ghost of their son. Yeah, I think in all these, especially in these kind of like China and China adjacent like horror games, but probably just in horror in general, like where it's like superstition's never really like a good thing, but it definitely makes me think of Devotion, which is the guy from the, I forget the name of the studio, but it was the people that did Detention. But yeah, that was definitely the kind of thing where it's like you know well, I think in that case it was more of like a snake oil thing. But yeah, like basically, the the dad listens to basically some like witch or shaman or some crazy lady who's got some kind of like snake oil type prescription, and it really doesn't go well for the family. Original can only be hold. 7 days. Every day, which triggered his murderous plan. Oh yeah, so did that she maybe put it in the porridge? Because she said to the mom like, "Oh, like you're certainly happier since you started taking the sleeping pills." So I wonder if maybe like the daughter is like, "Oh, let's share it with everyone." Yeah, of course, that's the reason they don't go to the local clinic, and that she wants you to get the medicine from further away, is because they both blame the doctor for not being able to save their son. Oh man, I think I know what's going in here. Yep, that's exactly what they're going for. Put in quote sleeping pills. And yeah, clearly the mom comes back and finds that they've all eaten the poisoned food and are presumably all dead. And then yeah, maybe she does actually like intentionally kill herself out of grief. I guess she doesn't know that. Oh wait, no, never. I guess it's not really clear what. Yeah, this must be a conversation that took place beforehand. It's clearly like kind of referencing, when the mom talking to the teacher and saying like, "Oh, thanks for helping me get into this other school that's in different city or a different town or whatever." So rather than poison herself, she hanged herself. Pretty bleak, needless to say. Wasn't one of those altruistic poisonings. One of those mischievous ones. Naturally. Yeah, the ledger, of course, being they've referred to it earlier, but clearly that's where he keeps all the records of the cultural artifacts he sold, and I guess they're also saying like there was probably a lot of rich and powerful people on the list. But yeah, they're kind of doing like, oh, I guess the investigation's over, but you would think almost certainly there's going to be like one more thing. I don't think it's just going to roll credits. I think we're going to get a little bit one more spooky happening. Guess that's the phone in here. Yep. Let's do this one right here. I was gonna say like was I? They did say she was a teacher at one point. I didn't just make that up, but yeah, okay. I guess that was clearly just like a cover story, so she could investigate the items being sold. And yeah, he was so basically he was saying like, oh, some of the they can publish some of the names of people involved in the buying the things, but not all of them. He said some not now and some never. So yeah, clearly some people are being protected. So that's clearly just a bunch of different like town people asking about her, and I guess now they're making an announcement. So I guess, yeah, I'm still around trying to figure out what happened to her. In the white blouse or whatever. I don't know about the rest of it. We can't there. I know there was like an umbrella earlier in that house, but that white blouse, I think that was. I guess I can't actually think of what she was wearing before, but I wonder if it was supposed to be like that was the thing that you ironed or whatever in that earlier scene, like right before the thing that the woman was wearing before she hanged herself. All right, let's. I rather had a feeling I'd be controlling a lantern. I'm assuming you're supposed to avoid the red dots. Nope. Nope. Guess not. Yeah, see, this would be a good example of something like because I could see a version of this where it was like more complicated than necessary, or there was some kind of challenge involved, and it wouldn't have to be the kind of thing where it would take 30 minutes. It could still just take like 7 minutes and be unnecessarily long. But that was seemed rather. So it looks like the silhouette of Miss Chen, possibly the silhouette of the ghost of Miss Chen. We're gonna find out. Huh. It's a nice little metaphor. And now they're at the bottom of a well. I'm still waiting for the other shoe to drop and her to be dead or a ghost. Yep, something like that. Burned to death, huh? Huh. So I guess she was faking. Since he was saying that it was kind of suspicious that he doesn't smoke, but like deliberately mentioned it in front of him, I guess that would lead me to believe that it's going to be someone else's body, maybe. All right, let's see if we can take a look at the body. I wonder if they're going to give me some kind of bone rearranging mini game or something. Yeah, they couldn't help themselves. I don't imagine this should be too bad, but This one does go here. This just doesn't. There we go. That's what it is. That was like a fake out bone right there is what that was. This looks like it fits. That should do it. Kind of, I mean, there hasn't really been, it's been straightforward since then, but I'm a little surprised this is still going on because the guide I was looking at earlier, I thought it looked like chapter 5 was the last chapter, but clearly there was a chapter 6, so I'm still expecting this game to be over any minute now. But if they hit me with a chapter 7, I probably will drop a save and just end this episode. But again, I think I'm gotta be getting pretty close to solving this mystery. Is that him, the doctor? Oh, well, I guess there's a chapter 7. Even with like regardless of whether or not he smokes, it's still like on its face kind of ridiculous that you would die in a firework related fire, a car fire. Like it seems I mean, sure, maybe it happens a little more in China, but I still think that's probably an incredibly rare cause of death. Did a little skeleton puzzle, pal. Oh, fucking scapula, buddy. Uh, ribs. Fibrocartilage calluses. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. I guess they still haven't established whose skeleton it is. Perhaps this unreasonable answer is the most reasonable. I was thinking he might let him go because, he didn't really do anything that wrong. Yeah, that's kind of my guess, was that it would be that guy, was the corpse there. All right, well, that clearly turned out to be a lie, that I was going to break up the recording after I found a chapter 7, but this game has got to be over soon. Well, fair enough. I guess at least epilogue means something very specific as opposed to chapter 8. Oh, is this just the credits? Or I guess this is the credits for the song? Yeah, huh. Some unskippable credits. Well, I will indeed let this roll, because the fact they said epilogue beforehand, I assume they're still going to give us. Oh, there we go. There's a skip. Yeah, let's see. Yep, nothing at the end. Well, definitely enjoyed it. I'm not gonna, pontificate for 10 minutes on my thoughts on the game overall, but as I had said before, I definitely wanted to play it before it got translated to English, and I think it would have looked just cool seeing the trailer. But I remember it did get good reviews on Steam, which would further make me want to play it. But yeah, I definitely say it's worth a playthrough and would be a recommend overall. All right. Thank you for joining me. And obviously, that's the end of this game, but I've got a few other horror type games on the docket, so I should be having something new out soon. If not Final Fantasy VII, I'd still like to get to the bottom of why that won't work. So